Hello and welcome back to another episode of Doctor in a Bikini, and welcome for the first time ever, my favorite, the world's favorite, America's favorite, Stephen Nedoroscik. Welcome.
You're too sweet, Shannon. Hey, everybody. Welcome to be on this podcast. I'm excited to get this conversation going.
You're so sweet. Oh my gosh. I was saying before we hopped on camera, like that for anyone watching to excuse me being orange and if they see my heinous gallon water bottle. Have you ever had to get a spray tan for gymnastics?
For gymnastics, I've never gotten a spray tan. In fact, the first time I ever got a spray tan in my life, Riley Arnold freaking recorded and documented the entire thing for Dancing with the Stars.
Oh my. Wait, how was that experience for you?
I mean, it was kind of awesome, actually. Like, they sprayed me down, and it legitimately made me look way more ripped. And I was like, dang, this stuff does work pretty well. And also, it smelled really good. I don't know if it was just the mixture of stuff they had that day, but it had like this coffee sort of scent to it, and I liked it.
Maybe like the Hollywood tan or something.
Yeah, right?
I feel like the bodybuilder's tan isn't quite as luxurious. The tan does smell good, but the fact that you can't wear deodorant and you can only eat tilapia, it's kind of a whole different, yeah.
You can only eat tilapia because of the spray tan?
No, just, just leading up to the show or turkey. But yeah, so it's like my husband Connor, he doesn't necessarily love this time because he's like, ooh, yay, more fish cooking in our
Oh my
house.
God, that's so funny. Yeah, fish cooking season.
Oh my gosh. So wait, I'm gonna try something fun. I feel like everybody listening knows you or should know you, but if they don't, if they live under a rock, if they didn't watch gymnastics, if they don't watch the Olympics, oh my gosh, I was gonna say Olympia because of bodybuilding. If they don't watch the Olympics, and if they didn't watch Dancing with the Stars, I asked ChatGPT to give me like a fun bio for you. Are you
Oh, this is
ready?
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. It says, all right, y'all. Today we've got someone on the show who is basically the Beyonce of Pommel Horse, except with fewer backup dancers and a lot more wrist circles. Stephen Nedoroscik is a two-time NCAA champion, four-time U.S. national champion, and the first American man to ever win a world championship gold on pommel horse. That's right, the pommel horse, the event most gymnastics fear, and this guy made it his playground. He's known for rolling up to competitions in glasses like he's about to tutor you in calculus, then taking them off and transforming into gymnastics Superman. Fans call him the pommel horse guy, but to his teammates, he's the chill genius who quietly saves the day. No cape required. And if that's not enough, he's got an engineering degree, solves Rubik's Cubes in under 9 seconds, which I think you just beat that record. What is it,
Yes,
7?
I did. Yes, I did. 7.86 3 days ago. Hoo, hoo, hoo.
And just helped Team USA snag their first Olympic medal in men's gymnastics since 2008. Oh, and he does it all with a humble grin and a big nerd energy, which we can all get behind. Please welcome to the podcast, the legend, the myth, the perfectly pointed toes, Stephen Nedoroscik. What a bio.
That is, first of all, 100% accurate. Killed it with literally all my fun accolades. But also, does your chat GPT say y'all, or did you ask it speak in like a southern accent?
It said y'all.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Honestly, I've gotten like probably way too comfortable using ChatGPT that I do feel like maybe it just knows me because
Do
I
you think it
say
picked up on
y'all.
your accent? Oh my God, how cool is that?
If it cool or like it's giving iRobot, you
Yeah,
know?
right. It's giving scary.
Will Smith's making a comeback for 2025. I also, while we were on the Chat GPT train, because I was like, why not? Start with a couple fun things. And then I want to get into some just honest things to ask you because I feel like as a human being on tour with you, like Chat GPT, it obviously emphasized how awesome and humble you are, but it doesn't even know. Like, didn't even
Oh,
scratch the surface.
oh,
So
you're so sweet.
honestly though, and then we'll end the podcast with some listener questions too,
Heck
which
yeah.
disclaimer for everyone listening. End of peak week for me. So if my words come out like blah, 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 just forgive me and take my finger guns instead.
Oh my God.
All right. So I asked it to give me a couple would you rathers. So are
Oh,
you
okay.
ready? They
Yeah.
are allegedly tailored to you. I haven't looked at all of them, but I did write a couple of them down. So The first one, let's see, it says, would you rather, I feel like I know your answer to this one. Would you rather only be able to walk using handstands for a week or have to wear a leotard for every formal event this year?
I'm gonna go with walking on my hands for a week. Because first of all, the step ins, the leotards that we have to wear are super uncomfortable. You do not want to wear that at a formal event. Secondly, walking on your hands for a week might be kind of cool. It might get you like ripped in your forearms. It could be really good for rehab. So it's like a double positive. So walking on your hands for a week.
Okay, first off, your forearms deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm just saying. Like,
Guys, I have like the veiniest forearms. If I don't have muscle much on my body, but for no reason at all, my forearms are just crazy developed.
like they are the loudest, coolest forearms in the room. Like you're just chilling there, and the forearms are like, "Sup, welcome." Okay, number five. I'm combining it with number nine because the second one I didn't love, so I'm going to combine two. So, would
I
you rather coach a team of toddlers hopped up on sugar through a pommel horse routine, or would you rather be stuck in a room with five hyper competitive gym moms?
Oh, that's a hard one. That is a hard one. Because gym moms take gymnastics very seriously, but gym toddlers, oh my goodness, they are the hardest group of people to ever try to organize. Like, I'm working this wonderful camp right now. I was just training with some, or I was coaching like these, 8 years old to 13-year-olds gymnast students, and they were very well behaved. First of all, but a well-behaved gymnast is still rambunctious and bouncing off the walls and trying to just like get like 10 of them to listen to you and stand in a straight file line is a difficulty. So I'm gonna have to lock in with the gym moms on this one. I think I'll be able to hold my own against them.
Good. You know, I agree. I think again, you just like take off the glasses and they're like, whatever you say, Superman, we'll listen to you. All right, we got two more. Next one is, would you rather be forced to train with glitter covering everything? Grips, horse, floor, Leos.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or be allowed to train only listening to a loop of Barbie Girl for a month.
For a month?
For-
Oh, 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 this one's hard, Shannon. The glitter would make gymnastics so hard. Trying to like grip stuff while glitter's in the way. I don't think it'd be possible. I think I have to lock in. You said what song?
Barbie Girl.
Barbie Girl? Oh, I think I have to lock in Barbie Girl for a month here.
Oh,
You know what? Sometimes you have to chase that dream, that Olympic medal. You have to chase it. And if it takes listening to Barbie for a month so you can train on your equipment, you got to do what you got to do.
you know what? You're an expert meditator, so I think you could do it.
I'll
You
be able to
could do
block it out.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're so right.
All right, last one. This one might be my favorite. Would you rather be able to stick every landing, but you have to yell, nailed it every single time,
Oh.
or be silent, but get a dramatic fog machine every single time you mount the horse?
Ooh. So here's the thing. I've only ever not stuck my dismount twice on pommel horse. It's like the easiest vent to stick. So if you don't stick it, it's like shame on you. In fact, back at Penn State, they'd make us do a figure eight on our hands and knees around the legs of the pommel horse, and I did that at NCAA's one time, which was so
Oh,
embarrassing. So I don't need the superpower to stick every time. And I'll tell you what. A fog machine as I'm about to mount the pommel horse. Shannon, are you kidding me? Do you know how tough that would be? I would 100% do the fog machine. I'd look so cool. It'd bring me back to like the Dancing with the Stars days, and you know the
oh yeah.
cameras in your face and the fog machine start rolling.
Oh
Woo-hoo, that would
my
be so
gosh.
cool.
That makes me think, if you were to have a walk-up song, what would it be?
Oh no. So here's the thing. I don't really know. My walk-in song is always going to be changing because like I have like five different brains or something that like different genres of music. So at a certain point, like usually for a competition, I'll be listening to some like rap, some high energy music. But like right now, I'm just like a very chill state. So like it's like my walkout song right now is like something Radiohead or something. Like just like
Like
straight
Creep?
vibes. Yeah, right. Just like Creep or let's see. I've been listening to a new album. Desert Island Disc is a good song. So right now that would be my walkout song, but it's like super chill, you know?
I like the chill vibes. Honestly, I can relate. Like maybe I'll listen to that before my show tomorrow. When I'm backstage, I channel my inner Steven. I sit back there.
Yes.
I take a little nap kind of I look like I'm meditating. I'm like, I'm just so relaxed to be here. So maybe that'll be my playlist tomorrow.
I 100% recommend it because you know what? When you're right there, right before your competition, the only thing you got to do is control your heart rate, control your breathing, and some very chill, nice music is going to help you settle in.
I gotta do it. Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
For those listening, if they haven't seen the banana bread guy, I asked Steven one time, I was like, have you seen the banana bread guy? We were like, hell
Yeah,
yeah.
it was like a good bit that we had through. That had to have been like the first half of tour, Shannon,
Yeah.
because it was literally like that was a meme going into the whole Olympic cycle with me and one of my other teammates. It was banana bread, hell yeah! So it was so fun when you brought it back for me.
I needed to have a buddy. I needed to have, someone that I could
Yeah,
just
you need to find someone that knows the niche memes that you do. That's important
Yep.
in life.
Yeah, our PT sessions would consist of, tell me something weird. What's something that you do? Oh my God, you do that too? So that was my sanity for sure on tour, I would say.
No, we definitely all clung on to some very niche things to just help us get through the day when we were on tour. Isn't it crazy, Shannon? We did that tour. Look at this. I got this. I got a giant belt back here for doing that whole tour. I mean, what a
That's
blessing it
so
was. I know, isn't it?
crazy.
Isn't it crazy? It's huge.
I love that you got that. Oh my gosh. You need to have a whole mural full of Steven accomplishments.
I kind of do. I believe it or not, I didn't have a trophy case up until I just got this about a month ago and set it up. And quite literally, for the past 2.5 years, all of my fun trophies, like my NCAA trophies, were just in a box.
Okay, not nearly as full, but if we're exposing ourselves here,
Do it.
I haven't put these anywhere.
Oh, those are giant.
They're just like on my desk next to me, so I can
Can,
relate.
can
I
you hold
just,
that up to your face really quick? Those are some massive medals. Oh my God.
Steven, these are like local show medals. They are not Olympian medals. So the audacity of me even showing them on the camera. But
Are you kidding? That's awesome.
so note that you were more organized than me because they're staring at me. They're like, "Are you gonna deal with us?"
Are you going to put us somewhere?
Wait, okay, for your future trophies, because you told me on tour, and I don't know if you can or can't or want to share, but you told me there's certain things and certain records that you are hoping to set. Can you share some of those things that you were hoping to achieve?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I really want to achieve is I want to have the absolute most USA titles on pommel horse. Right now, I'm tied for first already, but I want to be the guy. I don't want to be tied, so I want to win at least one more, and I have a good feeling I'll be able to do that because I'm going to continue this sport for the next 4 years. So I have a good amount of attempts to make that happen. So that's goal number one. Goal number two is I'd love to make it to LA. I would absolutely love to make it there, and now that I know what the Olympic cycle is like and how it feels to represent a team, I have a good feeling that I'd be able to work or change my workout a little bit so that way I can really push difficulty on pommel horse so that way I can shoot for gold on the pommel horse individually and as a team shooting for gold. So I'd love to get USA title, one more, and I'd love to get a gold Olympic medal. And if I got that, my career would be as good as it could ever be.
Absolutely. Wait, okay, for those of us that don't know, what does that look like regiment and workout wise for you?
Yeah, so like right now we're at a very chill state in my cycle. We go through cycles, so every 4 weeks we ramp it up slowly. We go light, medium, hard. And then the next week is going to be light, but it's kind of equivalent to the previous cycle's medium week. So we're always on this upward trend. But right now we're just doing 5 days a week of workout. As we gear towards competition season, it's slowly going to become 6 days a week. And then for the month leading up to a competition, we're going to be there 7 days a week. Even if a couple of those days are just going to be for treatment and rehab, we want to make sure that we're in the gym getting something done. So that way we know when that competition comes around, we're going to be ready. No excuses. We can trust everything we've done in the past and we're just going to be ready for it. So that's kind of how we gear up for competitions.
I love that. Wait, you said something so impactful there. You talked about just trusting the fact that you're ready. And I feel like that's such an art. And so many people I already know. That was one of the first things that they asked is, can you ask Steven to talk about how he has such good control over his mental state? And I can attest to this. Even in tour, I would ask you, do you miss home? And you're like, I just take it day by day. So Let's dive into that because that is something so valuable that I think all of us would love to hear from you, how you go about that and what things you do struggle with.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you're always going to feel pressure. You're always going to get nervous. You're always going to feel like, oh my God, this is a big moment for me. And that's always going to be normal. The question is, how can you control that? And a few things that you can immediately control is just by reframing what it is. You can either say, I'm nervous and scared for this thing that I'm about to do. But physiologically, you're going to get sweats, your heart rate's going to go up. That's the same thing as being excited. It's the exact same thing as being excited. So if you can just change the way you look at it and say, I'm excited for the opportunity that is ahead of me, that immediately is going to flip a switch inside your brain. Number two, meditation and controlling your heart rate. We can all just breathe in for 5 seconds and then breathe out for 5 seconds. And just doing that for a couple minutes, you're going to be able to bring your heart rate down, feel a lot less stressed, feel a little more zen. And number three is meditation and visualization. So at the Olympics, that viral clip of me, a lot of people thought I was just taking a nap. But no, I knew exactly what I needed to do. I was in my head doing my breathing exercises, and I was visualizing every detail of my routine that I was about to do. In that moment, I knew that my life could change in the next 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, whatever that thing was is going to be over, and you have either succeeded or you didn't. But what you can do beforehand is you can control the controllables like your heart rate, how you view the opportunity, and visualization. And at the end of the day, when you're up on that performance, whether you're doing pommel horse or you're doing bodybuilding or you're doing anything, whatever, it could even just be public speaking, right?
Yeah.
Stay present and just make sure that you don't black out. We've all been there where you black out during a performance and you're like, oh my God, I have no idea how I did. So just stay present in the moment, focus on the now, and just rely on trust the process, like trust the things that you did leading up to the competition or whatever it is, because odds are you prepared well enough.
Wow. Stephen, for one, I just have to say, I hope you know, obviously the things you do are so awesome, but the reason why everyone loves you is genuinely just because the person you are. Like,
Oh, you're sweet,
you're
Shannon.
seriously, I mean, because everything that you're saying is such a valuable tool. It's like what everyone wants to hear from their friend or their family member. So I mean, I hope you know no matter what you do, which I feel like you don't stress about it anyways, but it's like it is so easy for people to just love the person that you are. And I just think that's so cool. And I feel so spoiled that I got to meet you and that I get to chat with you right now. It's just, I appreciate all of these one-liners you're giving because it's so helpful for people listening, I promise.
Oh, well, it's sweet of you to have me on the podcast, number one. And number two, I just want the listeners to understand that, what I say isn't just gymnastics, it's life. Like, we all get nervous for things, and these tools are universal. So use them to your advantage and trust yourself.
Yeah. Have you always been that way, or is this something that you had a moment where you really had to learn?
No, I mean, my entire career has been about failing and learning how to pick myself back up, how to glue those pieces back together, but more than anything, reflect on what went wrong and how I can control it, how I can fix it. Earlier you asked me about the goal of, my goals, and one of those is getting that gold medal at the Olympics. And, my answer to you was pretty much I know what I could have done differently, and the next time around, I'm going to change it. So my mindset is always a growth mindset, even if it's just 1% every day type of thing. I'm always just trying to beat myself that I was yesterday. And I think with that mindset, you can pretty much become an expert at anything you put your mind to.
Jeez, you're like slaying me over here. These are such good tips.
But seriously, having that mentality is something that isn't innate. It is a muscle that you have to train. So I always recommend for people to just do things you're uncomfortable with. I did Dancing with the Stars. I am a gymnast who rotates. I don't dance. But miraculously, with my great partner Riley and just trusting what she was teaching me, I made it all the way to the finale. And it is just like put yourself in those uncomfortable environments, put yourself in those stressful environments, and over time, they're going to get comfortable and you're going to be able to handle a whole lot of pressure.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time you really dealt with failure and when you were first challenged with, man, I really have to work on reframing? Do you remember that moment?
One of the most embarrassing moments for me, I wouldn't say embarrassing, one of the most teaching moments for me was my first NCAA competition. Throughout the whole preseason, I mean, I was looking great. And as a freshman, a lot of the upperclassmen and coaches were very impressed with how I was doing. But one thing that I needed to do was prove my worth to the team. And the first competition comes around, and I was so nervous. It was my first time having a team on my chest and behind me in the crowd cheering me on. And I mean, I crumbled under that pressure, and I had a whole lot of, mental battles afterwards. I fell 3 times. And it was not a big competition. This is the first of the season. It's not a big deal, but in the moment, it was a really big deal because I felt like, I failed myself and my team. And after that, I had great conversations with a Team USA athlete, Trevor Howard. He taught me, box breathing. He taught me, what it is I need to do to make sure I don't black out on an event. And, it wasn't the next competition that I was able to fix all those things. It took years and it took me a lot of effort, but over time, I got pretty good at handling
I'd say.
it.
And is it that visualizing your entire routine start to finish that helps prevent blacking out for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like focusing on the small things like breathing, you know, focusing on the breaths. For me, when I do a routine and I visualize, every skill has a thing that I need to focus on, whether it's my patience or it's the pressure I put in my right hand or it's leaning over. I always have something that I know I need to focus on. And having that list of things to focus on throughout the routine, as well as just like focusing on your breathing, they keep you present in that moment. So that way you can actually just focus on being clean and executing what you trained years for.
Yeah. Was that different with your routines for Dancing with the Stars? Because I mean, you're thinking about different things. Were you focusing on your breathing for performing on live television too, or was that process a little different?
Yeah, so with Dancing with the Stars, the process is a little different on what you do to stay present. Luckily for me, dance was something where every step that I took had a focus to it. And I will admit it, I was not the most natural dancer out there. It took me a lot of hours and a lot of time to be able to perform the way that I did, and I'm very proud of how I did on the show. But it is the exact same mindset. I shifted it a little bit. I didn't focus on my breathing. Instead, I focused on keeping my shoulders down, or I focused on turning my head out a little bit because I have this tendency to do this and but yeah, no, it really is just one and the same. Like I said, like a lot of these sort of mental rituals that I have, they're not just for gymnastics, and I utilize them to my fullest when I did Dancing with the Stars.
Mhm. How, while we're kind of talking about your transition with Dancing with the Stars too, because someone just asked me the other day, with your trajection, is that even a word? Trajectory?
Trajectory, something like that. I'm a math guy. I'm not an English guy.
With how everything unfolded, I mean, it was like pedal to the metal between gymnastics, being at the Olympics, going viral, going on Dancing with the Stars, going on tour. Now that it's all done, did you and are you experiencing any sort of post Olympics, post show, post uh, tour blues?
I wouldn't necessarily say I am actually. And the thing about me is like I feel like I'm like a mouse on a wheel and I got to keep spinning. Like there's always something in my life like that I have to do. Like after tour, I took 2 weeks off. Fully took 2 weeks off. I was like, I need a mental break. I need a physical break. I need to reacclimate to the environment. And even during that 2 week period, I was like, dang, I need to get really good at cubing again. I need to get really good at chess again. I did a chess tournament. Anyways, no, I never got the blues from it. And I think it's because I am really great at moving on to the next target. And right now, my target is getting back in shape in gymnastics.
Yeah. No, and I thought of that question because I think for you a lot of because a lot of athletes listen and a lot of them encounter, and I've encountered too. It's like when you maybe achieve that first major goal, sometimes there's almost a loss or a grieving, or maybe you're not sure what's next. And sometimes that can be challenging or make you sad. But I think between, you're right, which I can identify with you being the mouse on the wheel. I almost said cheese on the wheel.
Cheese on the wheel.
um, but as I think really it's just staying present, like everything you just said, and reframing everything that you just mentioned, wow, it's not that it's over, it's how cool that I got to experience that.
Yes.
What else do I want?
Yes.
What else do I want to do from here? What else do I get to do? And also, I totally glazed over the fact that you were on Family Feud recently,
Yeah.
and I
I
looked at this
was.
up, and you were the winner for Critics' Choice, Male Choice. That's
Yeah,
freaking
isn't that
awesome.
insane?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, congrats. Like actually talking to you in person, congrats. I know I messaged you, but that is freaking amazing. We were all voting for you, by the way, in Arizona. Just so
Oh, thank you, Shannon. I mean, I couldn't have ever imagined that I'd be the winner of the Celebrity Male Star of the Year. I mean, it's just crazy to me. But I mean, I've just had such an amazing year, you know, and looking back, I've done a whole lot, and looking forward, I have a whole lot to do. So,
absolutely. Would you say, well, first off, wait, how did Family Feud go? I don't know if it's televised, so we don't have
it's not
cable.
televised yet. I don't
Okay.
even know the date of it yet, but I know it's going to air this summer. And overall, a fun experience. It was
Oh,
really
no.
fun. And it was really cool being able to do something with my family, being able to have the camera out with all of them. You know, that way not only can I share some of this limelight with my beautiful family, but also so that they could like experience it. You know, being in that pressure. They were like, oh my gosh." I was like, "Don't worry guys, just be yourselves. You got this. Calm down."
We're visualizing everyone. We're
Everyone,
visualizing
we're
spring.
taking meditation break.
Are you really close to your family?
I would say like I'm close to my family in the sense like I'm close with my long distance friends. Like one thing that I've been open about and that I really stink at is staying in touch with people that are not immediately right next to me. I'm the worst at it, and I apologize to all my good friends. But one thing that I'm really amazing at is when I finally do get to see that person again, we are still gonna be tight. We are still going to be the friends we were years ago. We're still the family we were 6 months ago. But one thing that's been amazing about this year, I only usually get to see my family once a year at Christmas. Maybe twice if they come to a competition. But this year I've seen them like a dozen times. So it's been a
Oh,
really fun year being able to see my family that often.
that's really awesome. And as far as, because I know I kind of skipped over, as far as growing up, was there anyone else in your family that also came from a gymnastics background, or was that something totally new for everybody?
Yeah, that was totally new for everybody. I was just this ball of energy, little undiagnosed ADHD kid, still undiagnosed, but probably ADHD. I mean, I have to have it. but
We're on the wheel together, my friend.
exactly. The wheel is spinning. But I was just literally climbing up walls when I was 4 years old, and my parents had enough of it. They were like, we need to maybe put this energy somewhere else. So they signed me up for a preschool gymnastics class. And I didn't even know it at the time, but the person covering that class was going to be my future coach, Bob Donahue.
Oh,
And at 4.5 years old, I climbed a 15-foot rope all the way to the top, and the next day, my dad gets a phone call. He knew I climbed the rope, and it was against the rules. You don't let 4-year-olds climb to the rafters. So he thought we were going to get banned from the gym straight up. But then they were like, he has a lot of potential. We want him to try out for the team. So that's what I did, and that's how I got into gymnastics.
oh. Was there ever a moment along the way that you thought you wanted to quit or that you weren't going to do anymore, or have you always been on that straight and narrow?
No, I mean, when I was 8 years old, I quit the sport for 2 months. You know, it was just one of those things where it was like, is this even what I want to do? I can't remember exactly what my headspace was like as an 8 year old, but I
Fair.
know that at the time I wasn't enjoying it as much. But when I quit for 2 months, I realized just how boring life was without something to have a goal for. And gymnastics was a thing that I had a goal for, and I wanted to go back to it. So it didn't take me long to come back to gymnastics.
Honestly, I feel you on a soul level. And when my husband listens to this, he's going to be like, oh, certain things make sense because that's a joke in our house is it's so fun to have something to work towards. It's boring when you don't have a goal, when you don't have something to look forward to. So I think I can totally relate to what you're saying on a very amateur level. Like, it's so fun, but that's cool that you had that little break and that reassurance in enough to bring you this far. What do you think? And this might not be something you have an answer to, but what do you think it would take for you to be like, okay, I think I'm good?
Breaking my arm. That's
Don't you dare
seriously.
say that.
I mean, it's what I always tell people. I've put in a lot of work in the sport. I've done it for 22 years now, and it's seeming like, finally these last few years on the national team, I've really been able to sort of cash in on all this work I've put in my whole life, and I'd almost feel like I'm doing myself an injustice if I quit too early, especially because I'm still getting better. You know, so I always tell people I'm going to continue the sport until I can't do it anymore, and that's always going to be how it is.
Oh, I love that. No, and I think what you mentioned earlier with people, even if they're not in gymnastics or if it's not an athlete, maybe it's work or family. I think that's the best reflection is, am I still having fun or am I still getting better or is there still room for me to improve? So that's such a subtle lesson you just said just by answering.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the same thing over and over. I love to have small goals. I never thought about the small goals I have in my life, but yeah, I enjoy the sport because I'm still getting better. I'm still chasing those marginal gains, and that's what I love. I love incrementally getting better at something.
Wow. Okay. I gotta ask, as we transition into some of the listener questions too, because I think we're starting to cover some things that people asked about. I've been getting asked this endlessly. Do you miss tour and would you do it again?
Okay, so I loved tour. I absolutely love my time on tour. Looking back on it though, isn't it unbelievable the amount of energy that we put into tour? I mean, it seriously was just the most amazing experience, but looking back at it, it's so hard to say I'm willing to dive back into something that was so long and so hard. But honestly, with how much I loved it while I was doing it, I think I would run back another tour. I really do think I would just because of how much I enjoyed it. But especially afterwards, I really just thought about it. I looked at, this wonderful belt they gifted me, 108 days, 80 or yeah, 88 shows, 69 cities. I mean, we did a lot and it flew by, didn't
You did. Some days
it?
no, but
On the matinees, it did not fly by.
yeah, no. Yeah, no, especially for you, because I mean, you were hosting all of the shows. So, I mean, not only were you just your wonderful, pleasant self backstage too, but then you were also bringing Steven onto stage and to meet and greet and to the backstage tours, So, yeah, I feel like you deserve another medal
Aw, you're so
based on
sweet. Don't
how
worry, I got mine. I got my belt. That's the medal I needed.
Yeah, seriously, you were like, I have my sleep time on the bus. I'm good to go. Which also, we're almost done with Severance, by the way. Almost.
Isn't it so good, Shannon?
It
Guys,
is.
I put Shannon on Severance because it became my obsession halfway through tour, and I don't think I've ever watched a show quicker. I can't believe you're still inching towards it. I mean, good for you having the patience.
Uh, well, okay, so it's partially a loyalty thing because I don't know if you and Tess are the same way. If there's certain shows that you watch only together.
Yes, there
Um,
is. And we always only do it at dinner, and we always only watch one episode. And I'm like, maybe we watch another. And she'll always be like, tomorrow.
Yeah,
Oh, I love to binge.
that's exactly how it's been happening in this house. Is everyone's got a bedtime, and I'm like, I mean, I could stay up, and everyone's like, no, we got to go to bed. I'm like, all right.
Exactly. See, I love how we just sync up on a lot of things, Shannon.
Okay, I have not tried yet though, and you need to tell the people about this Sudoku accomplishment that you have also achieved. I haven't done it yet, but I promise I'm gonna attempt it because I just need to attempt it just to say that I did.
Yeah, I mean, so let's see, it was a year and a half ago at this point. I came across a YouTube video titled, the world's hardest Sudoku. And it was, this 2 hour long video. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm not gonna watch the video. I'm gonna go to the website and check out what this puzzle is. And it was deceivingly simple and complex sounding. It's like a puzzle trying to figure out what you're even trying to solve. But when I like first of all figured out what I was trying to solve, I was like, "Ooh, this is a cool thing. This is really cool." And for the next week of my life, I spent like an average of 10 hours a day working on the Sudoku puzzle, and I think it took me 6 days in total and about 50 hours of work. But I became the 43rd person in the world, Shannon, to finish the Sudoku puzzle. And I'm literally being serious here. That was like a week of bliss for me. Like, I loved it. and I tried to start another puzzle shortly after, and
Yeah.
I couldn't get into it the same way. It was like this was the one puzzle that I wanted to dive in on, and I don't know what to do with this with this skill set that I've gotten from that puzzle since.
Literally, it's the most random thing that anyone's probably going to tell you that you remind them of. But anytime I open my Sudoku app, I'm like, man, I just think of how you told me, like, it wasn't fun for you anymore. Like, this is amateur hour. And here I am on the extremely hard version, and I'm so proud of myself for getting it underlay.
No, the extremely hard version is super hard. Have you tried Killer Sudoku?
No.
You should look up that app because when I got bored of Sudoku originally, I moved on to Killer Sudoku, and it's really fun. It has built-in rules into it that make it a little bit harder, but also a lot of fun. So I highly recommend you check that out.
Okay, I'll use that as the baby step because the part I don't know if
Yeah.
everyone's visualizing, when he says the world's hardest, it has no numbers.
Yeah,
I was
zero
like,
numbers, just a description of the rule set that you have to follow. Slightly different from Sudoku, very different actually, but at the same time, it still follows the Sudoku rules of the rows, columns, and squares. But I mean, awesome puzzle.
crazy. I came home and I showed Connor, and my brother-in-law, his younger brother, is low-key a genius also. I'm like, just give it to Jake and just see. I just want to see if someone in our family can solve it in a quick amount of time. But I will keep you posted on the killer Sudoku at least.
I'll be checking out those Instagram stories because I know you're going to be posting them soon.
Wait,
Best
okay.
times.
One more question before we go into the listener questions. Just because I feel like we're touching a lot of fun random things, and it's
Yeah.
because I feel like we exchanged a lot, but is there any other random thing that people don't know about you, or what is something embarrassing or funny that's happened to you recently?
I feel like all of my fun sort of like hobbies and stuff are out there. Like there isn't a whole lot of things else that I do.
Like you're
um
not doing a million things already.
yeah, I have like a pretty packed day and a lot of fun hobbies I already do. So I don't think there's anything out there that people don't know about. But let's think of something embarrassing that's recently happened to me. I can tell you an embarrassing story about the first time I hit my hard palm wrestler routine when I was in high school.
Let's hear it. I'm
All
ready.
right. So it was my junior year of high school, and the palm wrestler routine I was doing, both my coaches thought was way too hard for me. And it was sometime in the fall, maybe pushing winter time, that we're training these routines. And finally, I muscled my way through the whole routine, and all I had left was the dismount, which is the hardest part of a horse routine. So, man, I struggled, and I struggled so hard, my legs were shaking, convulsing. And then all of a sudden, Shannon, I farted. And
Oh,
everyone started laughing at me. It was the hardest routine I'd ever hit at that time. And I was laughing at me too. It was hilarious. But isn't
yeah.
it funny that the first time I was able to sort of make a hard palmers routine, I just kind of ruined the moment by farting?
Honestly relatable because I was just saying to Connor, I was like, anytime I remember an embarrassing story of mine, it's like always poop related. And I'm like, I feel like I need to tell the podcast things that are also not poop
You're
stories.
like, sometimes I burp too?
But those are just like the funniest ones because we
And
all
they're the
do
ones
it.
that
So
stick with you too, right? They never leave your memory.
oh, yeah, they're forever ingrained. Yeah, I've already shared it before on the podcast, but there's one from literally when I was 17 that I still remember start to finish the entire thing. And I'm like, man, those are like the only moments that I really get embarrassed is like, or not even embarrassed. It's just like you and I talked about this. We don't really get embarrassed very easily, but it's just like, oops.
And
LOL.
oop. Yeah, I just laugh it off.
That's a good one though. I appreciate you sharing that. Let's see. So you had a lot of questions, by the way. So again, emphasizing, I hope you realize how much people appreciate your input and just want
Oh,
to get to know you as a person. I just think that's really cool and it speaks a lot.
that is cool.
One question I like on here, it says, what advice would you give to your younger self?
I've been given this question in the past, and my honest truth is that I don't think I'd say a thing to myself because he's gonna go through troubling things. Life's not gonna be easy on him, but he's gonna find his own way through it, and at the end of it, be proud of everything. So I don't think I'd tell myself a single piece of advice.
Yeah, I love that and very on brand. Another one was rank the six. men's artistic gymnastics events from most to least fave.
Okay, okay. I'll start off with best to worst. Pommel horse, best event. By far, I don't want to hear it. Everyone's going to say it's the worst. It's the best. All right. Second best event is going to be parallel bars. I love parallel bars because it is always silky smooth. Like someone who's really good at parallel bars, you don't even have to be a gymnastics fan to like appreciate the art form that that event is. Number three is gonna have to be the still rings. That is like the face of gymnastics for a lot of people. That's just the raw strength of the sport. Very artistic, very powerful. Love rings. Number four is gonna be the fly high and high bar. Amazing, amazing gymnast, double twisting, double flipping, catching the bar. I mean, it's exciting. The reason I put it so low on my list is because I was bad at it.
Fair.
and this is a personalized list because the events that are at bottom three here were my worst. So the fifth best event is gonna be floor. I wasn't the worst at floor, but I would always get the twisties, especially at front tumbling, which means that I would go for like a full twist and I would automatically, my body would force me to go for 1.5 twists. So it was a really scary event and I didn't like it. So floor
Fair.
gets to be number five and vault gets to be number six. Fun fact, I almost qualified to nationals for all around my senior year of high school. I was this close. I was like almost about to be regional champ almost. And all I needed to do really was land my vault. And I landed like right on my face. It was the last time I've ever competed vault. I landed straight on my dome piece.
Oh, oh, I hate that for you. But I love that list and very well said. You're like, these are just my strengths, which is very fair.
Every gymnast is going to have their own list.
Oh, I can only imagine all of them. I'm like, I don't know if I told you, but I did gymnastics as like a younger kid, but it's one of those things where I didn't really feel like I achieved any sort of echelon enough to usually tell people that I did it. It was just like, yep, I did gymnastics, I did dance, I did cheer, all the artistic type sports. That was my favorite, but I usually don't lead with that.
Dude, I feel like a lot of people went through like a 2-year gymnastics phase, you know?
Mm, yeah, not everyone had the what's the word? I don't know, the mental strength and endurance that you did at 8 year old age.
I think it's just like, do you enjoy it or not type of vibe. Even for me at 8 years old, I quit the sport, but then I came back to it.
Yeah,
I always tell people gymnastics isn't for everyone and it doesn't have to be, you
yeah.
know?
Another gymnastics question you got was, what is one change you'd like to see in men's artistic gymnastics in the US, if
That's a
anything?
great question. So my answer here is going to be kind of the Achilles heel of men's gymnastics for a long time, and I would just love to see people getting really good at pommel horse. Pommel horse has consistently been Team USA's weakness. It's kept us off the podium many times before, and I mean, it's amazing to see that. Maybe it has to do with me or it has to do with my teammates, but in the recent years of men's gymnastics we're getting pretty strong on pommel horse, and it is really, really cool to see, especially because when I first made the national team, we were not very strong on pommel horse. But 6 years later, suddenly we have like three guys on national team that could all challenge to be world champion, and it is amazing.
What do you think contributed to that shift?
Honestly, like I think it has to do with internal battles more than anything. Like when I was trying to become, someone on the national team, I had to chase down the prior Olympians. There was an Olympic bronze medalist from 2016 that I needed to beat. And nowadays, with all the younger guys that are going through gymnastics, I can be their goal. And I don't necessarily like it feels weird for me to say that, but I'm a world champion. I'm a two-time Olympic medalist, so people can look at me and eye me down and say, "I want to beat him one day." And I think having that person in front of you is really important when it comes to just getting a whole group of people to improve at something.
Yeah. And I will say, unrelated to the questions, but I love that you mentioned that because without realizing it, you framed that in such a healthy way. I think sometimes in athletics, whether it's, even bodybuilding, right? I think sometimes there's a competitive energy that's not necessarily healthy or supportive. And I love the way that between the lines for you, it was like a healthy we're all just trying to build each other up. We're all just trying to get better. And you can sense that genuine energy from you that, hey, we're all just trying to bring something better to the table, not necessarily like this person's better than that person. This is what that says. So I love that you said that without saying it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Couple other gymnastics ones. And then I think it's so hard to choose because I'm not kidding you. I'm like scrolling through a
Oh
bunch.
my God, that's a lot.
Yeah, I wasn't kidding. Like, so I'm trying to low key also be like, okay, we already talked about that. Here's a cute one. What is the perfect date night for you and Tess? Because Tess deserves a little bit of love here. We can't forget her, right?
Can't forget Tess. Recently we've been playing a video game called The Blueprints. It's on Steam, it's on a PC, and pretty much every other night we've been loading up and playing a few runs of it. And honestly, it makes a perfect date night because we get to stay home and chill. I'll make a homemade dinner, or she will, and we'll just be able to, while cooking, be like, "Oh, open that door, do this task." But like honestly, me and her are just such chill people that like sometimes the best date is just to sit in your living room and exist as people together.
100%. I could not agree more. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wait, what's your go-to thing to cook for Tess?
So my dish that I'm very proud of and I make all the time is buffalo chicken dip. And this
Ooh.
is crazy sounding because that's not a meal. A lot of people listening are gonna be like, that's not a meal. After a workout where you sweat a whole lot, those salty tortilla chips are gonna get you your sodium and electrolytes back. Chicken is so dense in protein. If I have a bowl of buff chick dip that I made homemade, it has like 50 to 60 grams of protein in it.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's kind of an unreal recovery meal, and I'll stand by that because it's also delicious.
I completely co-sign that statement. Which, hey, I'm like anything can be a meal if you try hard enough. So
Yes.
anyone hating on the buffalo chicken dip, I will just gladly take that for them. I'm like, it's okay. You don't have to enjoy it.
Yeah,
I'll
don't worry
enjoy
about it. I'll have a little
it.
more.
Um, someone else asked, let's see. They said, how do you manage owning a cat when you're allergic to it? That was a few times on here, so I feel like they're gonna be mad if I don't ask
No,
about
that is first of all
it.
a hilarious question and honestly so true. So not only do I own a cat, but I also have asthma, which means that every night when, at nighttime your immune system starts to relax a little bit, asthma symptoms start picking up. So every night I'll be wheezing and I have to use my inhaler, but that will soon go away because I also take Zyrtec every day. And after I'm on Zyrtec for like a month or so, is usually when I notice I stop wheezing at night. So I'm hoping that soon I can put down the inhaler. But for now, that's how I get by. And he's honestly just like the cutest little thing ever. And I love him. So I'll gladly be allergic to him. Oh,
Zyrtec,
but
if you don't
also,
already sponsor Steven.
yeah, right. But also, don't let the cat sleep in your room. If
There.
you're allergic, you definitely don't want to wake up with your troubles of breathing. That sucks.
Yeah, no, no. I feel like some people they were submitting like couples advice, between the date night and this whole cat situation. One wants to own the cat, the other one, is
Oh my
allergic.
God, yeah, it's
So,
definitely what's going on. The listeners are
yeah,
like,
they
my
gotta be.
girlfriend wants a cat and I'm allergic. What do I do? Get the cat, man. You won't regret it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's pick one final good one. This is hard. A lot of pressure here. Let's see. I would say, oh man, when I say it like that, it makes it way more. We've already talked about that.
We've touched a lot of stuff here.
Yeah,
It might be hard to find a good question now.
I know, especially, oh my gosh. Well, how about, let's see, would you rather do another gymnastics one or another random one?
Let's do a random one.
Okay.
People know me about my gymnastics so well. It's like
Okay.
I always feel like I'm repeating things that people probably know. So I'd love a random question.
All right, here it is. If slash when you and Tess get married, are you going to hire Riley to choreograph your Dancing with the Stars first dance?
Oh, well, I mean, that's almost a go-to. Like, I'd have to reach out to my dance partner who taught me every other dance in my life. It's almost a requirement that Riley teaches me.
It would make sense. She'd be like, Steven, you're doing it again. Like,
Yeah, and she would make sure that my form is on point.
oh. There we go. And then we included Riley because I feel like we didn't even chat about that, but I know people ask you a lot, and I tried to sprinkle a little bit of Dancing with the Stars tour things, but I know you get asked about those. And to be honest, like I said, I wanted to bring Steven the person on here, not just Steven's accomplishments. So,
Steven, the greatest dancer.
I mean, hey, that Chat GPT intro, I think I'm gonna have to do that every single time.
That was fun.
I did you ever watch New Girl? I feel like
I
I asked
only
you that
I
before.
watched like one episode of New Girl before because one of my roommates used to watch it.
Okay. Well, if and when you ever get into it, let me know. Full report. But there's also an episode where for someone's birthday, for Winston's birthday, they do something called a honey roast.
Oh, what's that?
So it's like, a roasting session, right? Like
Okay, yeah.
it's the opposite. So it's like you're gassing them up
Oh,
essentially.
so it's like you're just complimenting them.
Yeah, and it was
Like I didn't want
done.
to mention it because I was kind of mad at you, but your hair has been looking really good.
Yes,
Stuff
he
like that.
crushing it. Yeah. They even did it in like rap form, or like it was a whole performance. Everyone dressed up as his favorite things. So I kind of asked Chat GPT, like, hey, let's honey roast Steven.
Oh my God,
Like,
that's so funny.
yeah. So I think I'm gonna keep that. Thank you, Chat GPT. Well, I know that you are a busy guy. We're both on this wheel together, so I really appreciate you hanging with me. Also, selfishly, I just got to hang out with you, which was really fun because I'm so used to seeing you every day for 4 freaking months. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. Is there anything I always like to ask everybody at the end? Is there anything we didn't talk about or anything you want to share or plug before you sign off today?
I always get this one too, and I never have anything to add because I feel like we just had such a great conversation. Like, what else is there to talk about? But I do want to say thank you for having me on, and it has been absolutely amazing getting to catch up with you. And before it all, before we end the episode, I want to say good luck to you. Good luck to
Thank
you. You're competing
you.
tomorrow. Good luck, Shannon. You're gonna
You're
kill
so
it.
sweet. Which, okay, for everyone listening, before we started, the fact that Steven knew, he's just such a considerate person. Like with all the hamster wheel things going on, he's like, you compete tomorrow, right? I was like, you were so nice. So thank you for the good luck. I appreciate it. And everyone is thanking you from their cars and their headphones right now, doing their cardio for all the inspiration. If y'all don't already follow, see, I say y'all all the time. If y'all don't already follow Steven, make sure to give him a follow on Instagram. You don't miss him. There's the blue check mark. Kind of hard to miss. Steven Nedoroscik. If you don't know how to spell his name, shame on you. It's just your full name, is it on Instagram?
Yeah,
Okay.
Steven underscore Nedoroscik. I'm sure
Okay.
you guys could just search up gymnast Steve nerd guy on
And
Google and you'll find me.
yeah. All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for listening. Steven, thank you for hanging with me, and we will talk to you next time. Bye, guys.